We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. It's a great day to be alive on The Dead Jeff Show. I'm Jeff. He is Nick. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. You're tuning in to our second ever WWE show. This is a WWE Survivor Series War Games recap show. So, Nick, hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't, the War Games there. That was a little weak for me. I wanted the William Regal War Game. The
Yeah, I'm not a voice actor. Maybe we can get some. Maybe you can, if you want to give it a shot. That's probably about how much I felt the War Games from this show.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, the holiday was great, man. Enjoyed the time off. Yeah, I'm curious to know what you thought of the show. We haven't talked about it much,
No,
save for
we
just
haven't.
one or two little things. So I'm very curious your take on this.
Yeah, we can get right into it. I'll tell you, I'm having fun with the podcast, but I really like doing these WWE shows, and hopefully they become a regular thing. It's a passion area for myself and for Nick, and we like to talk wrestling and what's going on in WWE. I think for me, when I think of War Games and I think of Dusty Rhodes and I think of this match type, it's we've tried everything we can to settle these feuds, and we've got no other choice but to go into War Games and settle our score, right? That seems like the way it should be. But going into this War Games, I'm like, why are these people mad at each other? Some of them, it's like I don't understand. Some of the stuff that's going on here, and maybe some of the teams were thrown together, without a good storyline. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the, being on ESPN now. The presentation, the build up. Now all of a sudden WWE superstars and I saw Paul Heyman on First Take and Get Up and all these shows, and they're doing all of this crazy promotion now, which I think is really cool. What do you think about this promotion?
I wish that some of the sportscasters obviously had more knowledge of the business.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I saw Cena do great. They gave him a great stand-up interview, and Stephen A can talk a little bit, but I couldn't even tell you the woman's name that was talking with him, and she asked him a question, and he's so good at finding a way to navigate the answer kayfabe, right, and not breaking character, but
right.
It's such a, which I guess for the audience, maybe it's good, but it's just such a rudimentary, so elementary. Like he's really trying to, just play up to the novice. So I think the thing that strikes me most in all of these different shows is just how little they seem to really understand about the wrestling business.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing, because what struck me was that very thing. It's like when Paul Heyman was on First Take and Stephen A was going back and forth with Paul Heyman. He was just talking about Paul Heyman being awesome. And then it was up to Paul Heyman to sell the show, and the rest of those guys had no clue what to say, what to ask.
Right.
And then they had Drew McIntyre on Get Up. And, Drew was in his heelish state and doing his thing. But it's just, I agree with you. If they're going to cover WWE and they want us to take them seriously, they're going to have to learn what's going on. The producers are going to have to help them out a little bit.
Yep.
Because these guys are professionals. Stephen A is great. Mike Greenberg's great. But they've got to be a little bit more prepared. The producers have to understand what's going on to set these guys up for success. Otherwise, we're just going like, this is just part of the package here, right? They have to, hey, let's do a promo here, promo there. But they could do a much better job if they just spend a little time and do a little research.
Or have a heel really lean into it, right? Get Logan Paul to just go lean into how stupid these people, because Logan Paul can talk. I love listening to Logan Paul talk. And he's a phenomenal heel. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on Logan Paul. I actually really, really enjoy him. I think he's a phenomenal heel. And for me, I agree. Either educate them or let Paul Heyman, let Logan Paul, instead of trying to promote the show, promote it via just a great heel promo on the sportscasters. Just go cut a great promo about how Stephen A knows nothing, or about how Greenberg knows, just pick a target,
Yeah.
right? And just get creative with it. So but yeah, outside of that, it just feels like we're just trying to educate the masses, which, maybe it's just a season forward, I guess.
Maybe so. I think for me, it's like, are we doing in character promos here? Are we doing just business promos here? Seems like they were confused, and maybe they'll
Yeah.
get that straightened out as we really move into next year when ESPN gets rolling with these PLEs. So first of all, were you excited going in for this War Games Survivor Series?
To be honest, not really. I mean, if I'm just
Yeah,
being totally honest, I mean, I think much like what you said, it felt cold. It felt like I can see the segments. I can see, you know, Charlotte and Alexa, and you know, I'm blanking on
Kabuki
the
Warriors,
Kabuki Warriors, yeah. Or I can even see obviously Becky and AJ, but we threw Rhea and
EO.
Io with Lash and Nia. Like it just felt like I can understand the individual, you know, stories that we've got going
Yeah,
on, but for the sake of let's tie it all together at this major PLE, just didn't make a ton of sense to me. Even for the men, right? Like,
yeah.
Logan Paul's nickname is literally the Maverick, and now you've got him in a group with four other guys. Like, there's nothing more anti-Maverick than, you know, throwing him in with the group. His whole shtick is, I'm by myself here. So,
Yeah, it's definitely problematic, right? And I think let's start with the women's War Games match. Now, traditionally, Survivor Series is an elimination style match, right? Survivor Series is here's my team versus your team, and the last one that gets the last pinfalls wins, right? And we eliminate people with pinfall submissions, right? Well, in War Games, it's different. We come down, we battle, and then the match doesn't start until all the contestants are in the ring, which has some people confused, right? It's like, okay, we're just fighting. The match hasn't started until everybody's in the ring and then the match starts, right? So that's a little bit confusing for people that are just casual fans.
yeah, evidenced by how many times Michael Cole has to say, "Remember, the match hasn't even started yet." He probably,
Yeah.
if you did a drinking game, take a shot every time Michael Cole says that, you would have been passed out halfway through the women's match. Like, he just mentioned it so much. So no, you're exactly right. And I will say too, just on that first point, I think there's a lot too, especially from a push standpoint, pushing a superstar. There's a lot to the elimination style. Like, if you think about The Rock and the way
Yep.
The Rock made his debut, if you think about Undertaker and the way he made his debut, like being the last man standing or eliminating the entire other team, or like whatever the push may be, it just opens up so many avenues. So I really feel like I missed that component of it. But then having said that, very confusing, especially if you're not used to watching that particular match, War Games, which again, you only get it, once a year.
Yeah, and the other thing that's problematic with these matches is if the first two get in and they're fighting. Well, the funny thing is when the music hits for the third person, and they're going through their normal entrance while their friends getting beat up in the ring. It's like that's a little bit of a problem, right?
Yeah.
And this is people that might have a problem with WWE or think, oh, this is just silly. These are the kinds of things they point out to. And as the women went along, some of them sprinted to the ring and didn't do their full entrances, which seems right for this kind of environment. But I think going into the women's war game match, to your point, it's like, okay, who's mad at who, right? We have the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky and Rhea that have been sort of in a thing,
Hmm.
right? We've got Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, who just came off a great tag team run, and I guess they're supposed to be mad at Nia and Lash. I mean, I don't know. And then you throw in AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, and so that's problematic for me right there. Is you got Rhea and Charlotte not really on the same page. They don't really like each other. They respect each other, but they've got a long-standing history. And then you know you have all of them. I guess Charlotte and Rhea and Io have history with Asuka,
Hmm.
and then Kyrie, and so Kyrie Sane, yeah, Kyrie Sane, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's okay. The stakes. There's nothing really at stake here. There's no huge bad blood, kind of thing. Maybe there's some things brewing on the horizon with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. There's some stuff going on there, but AJ Lee's only been back a couple weeks. So, give me your thoughts on the women's match.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I think one of the things, like even the high spots, the Io Sky high spot, there's just so many things where it either felt forced or it felt like I need more here. One of the things, especially in these kind of marquee PLEs, of which they're, what, 4 a year, you get WrestleMania, you get SummerSlam, you get Survivor Series, you get the Royal Rumble. Like those are kind of like, if you're gonna say out of the year, these are the four marquee PLEs. Um, One of the things that I always look for is like who someone should come out of this feeling like this benefited them greatly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone at the end of the night should be like, okay, this was a great benefit. In each of these matches, we're progressing along somewhere. Eh, I think they tried to do something with Lash there in the start of the match where they gave her a little, and I will say,
They
athletically, she
gave her
looks
star
great. She's got a
treatment.
good look. Yeah,
They gave her star treatment there.
right, right. So, I mean, I get that that's what they're trying to do. I don't know that it came off well because of all the other high spots and the way that the match ultimately ended. Um, you know, so I would just say I think women's wrestling has come a long way. Love Charlotte Flair. She's probably my favorite. And then Rhea's a close second, just currently going right now. So it's always good to see them work. I just think from a story standpoint, which a lot of times is the more interesting component of this,
Mm-hmm.
it just felt very weak.
Well, and I think it starts from Friday Night SmackDown where they had Charlotte go over Asuka for the advantage in this match, and that's who
Right.
comes in, I guess first. Um, like whose team gets the first
The
person?
third woman in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So who gets the advantage would be that they had Charlotte go over Asuka. I had a little bit of trouble with that because Asuka's been doing great, terrorizing, and making trouble for everybody in the in that division.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and then Charlotte, just beats her clean. And I had
Hmm.
I had a little bit of an issue with that. Then so going into the match, you have your typical spots. The match was okay. It wasn't a problem. I didn't understand. I mean, Nia Jax has been good, but I don't understand what's going on with her right now. And then that big, bright white, pink, and green or whatever it
Right.
was suit she was wearing.
Yep.
I don't understand the pairing with Lash. I guess we'll have to wait and give that time to develop. But the EO Sky trash can spot, I need to talk about this for a minute. Because in this spot, if you look down, you have all the 5 heels in a line just kind of standing there looking up. It would, they didn't have, it's not like somebody was holding them there or
Right.
they it was just like they were standing there too long, right?
Right.
And then EO jumps and really only connects with 2 of them, yet all
Right. The
5 of
center
them
two.
fall.
Right. Yep.
And I don't know if she was supposed to jump sideways and try to get them all, but she caught 2 of them, but all 5 of them decide to fall, which was a little bit hokey. Took away from it a little bit because that could have been a really cool spot and has been in the past. But
Right.
that one kind of didn't sit well with me. One of the things I thought was cool was Becky Lynch trying to not let AJ Lee in the cage,
Yep.
and then AJ Lee scaled the cage and got in. That was really cool, but I had a problem because they used it again later in the men's match, which we'll talk about. I don't know why they did that. I
Right.
was confused by that, honestly.
Yep.
But only hitting 2 on that big spot, it kind of took it away from me. I don't know. Tell me what you thought the highlight of this match was.
Um, I think for me, anything Rhea does, Rhea just feels. You talk about the guys, or you talk about in history the superstars' names that go on the marquee above, you know, Monday Night Raw, above SmackDown, above, the ones that you're really promoting. Rhea feels like she's that big. Everything she does feels big. Her entrance feels great. The call to the Terrifier horror movie, which I'm gonna bet you haven't seen.
No, I don't watch Art the Clown and the Terrifier. The Maestro loves them, but she came
Yeah,
out with the Art the Terrifier mask and all the
yeah,
clothes on, and
yeah.
that was Rhea's deal. And yeah, I agree with you that it looked great, but blood splatter all over. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and so that's for me. That's the highlight. The highlight is anything that Rhea's in just feels big. It feels, like it's just I'm supposed to care just because of her look, her presence, just that, of course the always talked about it factor. I did not care for the high spot with EO either. Thought it was really silly. You could the camera angles, which are normally fantastic. Right? WWE production is normally phenomenal. They stayed on the ring shot just a little too long to exactly what you're talking about. You kind of see them just all standing around waiting for it. Not organic at all. So I
Yeah.
would say Rhea's the high spot for me. I on the other end of it, just the way the match ended, I don't love AJ going over on Becky. I think typically you would do that if it's kind of like a stamp on the rivalry or stamp on the story, and clearly there's a lot left to do there. I highly doubt, unless AJ is walking away for a little bit again, which I guess could be the case, but didn't love AJ going over on Becky like that. I thought you could have easily put either Lash or one of the Kabuki Warriors in the decision.
Yeah, and I think what we said earlier with War Games being this kind of a resolution style match, it seems weird that a lot of these feuds are ongoing or just beginning.
Hmm.
So it's like we're not concluding anything in this match. So why not have it just a regular Survivor Series match, right?
Right.
It's like, oh,
Yep.
we have a men's War Games match. Let's do a women's War Games match.
Yep.
And I love Io Sky. I'm just going to tell you, she's one of my favorites, right?
Hmm.
Um, I like Charlotte too. Love Rhea. But to me, who benefited from this?
Right.
Is it
Exactly.
AJ Lee? Because if you look at Nia and Lash, maybe Lash got a rub, but it was not impactful enough to me. But she's hanging in there with the stars, I guess. You know,
Yep.
it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Asuka and Sane, they didn't really benefit from this. Charlotte, Alexa, eh, they each had their moments, but going back to what wrestling really is, it's about telling stories. It's what storyline got furthered and why do we care more about it, right? And I don't know that we came away with anything in that match to that effect. But there were some great spots. These women were trying hard. No disrespect to them. They're awesome at what they do. I think they just need a little bit of help from the writing staff to get some more storyline going.
Yeah, 100%. It's a C, it's a B plus A minus in the ring, in the ring outside of the EO Sky high spot. The wrestling is still phenomenal. Like I said earlier, women's wrestling has come such a long way from
Yeah.
the days of the divas. Um I love watching them mix it up. I like the interactions between them, the in-ring stuff. This reminds me so much of and I'll kind of age it just a little bit here. Reminds me so much of the late 90s, early 2000s WCW stuff where a lot of times the in-ring performers are great. There's a lot of really good
Mhm.
in-ring stuff going on. And I say a lot. There was some good in-ring stuff going on, but it's completely undone by the lack of storyline and the lack of getting me to care about what's happening. So I would
Well,
say probably go
I
ahead.
want to say this because there are some good storylines. It's the Charlotte Alexa Bliss storyline has been good.
I just
The
mean, yeah,
the Io Rhea storyline with the Kabuki Warriors has been good, but this all
right,
together
correct.
didn't further any of them. It didn't
That
make us
right.
care more about them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly right, and that's what I mean. It's a hodgepodge of all the things that I care about individually, so I must care about it collectively, and that just doesn't. It just missed the mark for me. So, yeah, little underwhelming. Love all the individuals in the match. I really do think Lash actually she may end up being a pretty good staple in the women's division. She's got a good look, good story, WNBA player, all that kind of good stuff,
yeah,
good background. So, individually good, individually some good spots. I've never been a Nia Jax fan, so don't really love her inclusion in anything. But outside of
yeah,
that, good in ring, poor storytelling.
yeah. And I think um, the win we said, obviously Becky tapped to AJ and the and
Hmm.
her finisher. What's it called?
Black Widow.
The Black Widow. Had it on the tip of my tongue. I knew it was a spider reference, but she tapped out to that, and then the funniest thing about the match is afterwards Becky Lynch is swearing she didn't tap and all that stuff, and so Becky Lynch is doing great, right? To
So good.
yeah, but AJ Lee, Charlotte, Alexa, Io, Rhea, they get the win in that match, and then we have the Intercontinental Championship match. The champion,
Mm-hmm.
John Cena, in his final PLE
Yep.
versus Dominic Mysterio. Now, this is a tough one, right? Because you already know going in that there's no way Cena's going over. He's got to give the
Right.
title back to Dom. He only has one more event left at Saturday night's
Right.
main event. So I was really interested and intrigued on how they were going to do this, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
Dom coming to the ring with Raquel and golly, I'm
Roxanne.
blanking, Roxanne, yeah, was really cool. What did you think of the way this match started?
I was hoping they would swerve us. I agree completely. And as soon as I saw Roxanne and Raquel, I was like, okay, well, they're at least giving us the setup here for what surely is going to happen. But look, I'm a huge Dom fan. I think
I hear a cat.
Cena.
Do you have a cat in the room?
Yeah, there's one of my cats snuck in and is literally
Yeah,
sitting right at my feet now.
they must love WWE. They want to talk WWE.
Yeah, they want to talk WWE. We'll get her out of here. Um, but yeah, I love the entrance. Love the start of it. I think everything Dom does is money. I think he
Hmm.
is by far my favorite superstar at the moment. And Cena coming in was everything you wanted to be with that crowd, man. They whatever energy the women's War Games match lost, and it kind of felt like they were losing it along the way. Crowd just kind of seemed like they were running out of steam. Boy, did this entrance just get them back completely.
Yeah, I agree. They were definitely into this match, and this to me, I feel like not from a wrestling standpoint, but from a storytelling, furthering the giving Dom his rub and all that stuff, accomplished exactly what wrestling is supposed to do. Right? It's this is entertaining. It's advancing the storylines, but it was also some good spots in there too. Right? So you have Dom who does the boot thing, unzips the boot, and maybe a little prematurely or too far because it was very obvious, and it's kind of a problem that Cena didn't see that, right? But you have the boot deal, and what I loved about Dom was the outside the ring fake injury.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. So Dom, he's going for a Hurricane out there outside. He lands on his shoulder, and you don't know he's selling it hard, like he's injured.
Well,
And
it
and
looked terrible.
yeah, yeah, it did.
I mean,
Just from the replays, they kept showing it, and it
right.
looked like okay, something could have happened here.
Yeah, man. I mean, to set that up, and I don't know who produced that match. Normally they'll say, whenever I'll read some of the after stuff, and I'll get to see who produced the match. And Bobby Roode, I know, does a lot of really good stuff, usually with Dom, or at least in the past, it seems like he's been involved in some of his matches. But whoever's idea it was for Dom to intentionally take that bump that way and then sell it the way he sold it, it's tough for anyone to convince me right now that Dom's not the best star going in WWE. Period. And I'm not talking about best heel. I just mean overall. Um, to think where this dude started is just Rey Mysterio's son, and he seemed like he was never going to get out of that shadow. Um, man, what a great way to come! And I couldn't agree more. Man, he sold it so well, and really set up the end of the match pretty nicely.
Well, before the end, then you have Cena getting in the ring. He's distraught. He thinks the match is going to be called. It's his last PLE. He doesn't want it to go off this way. And then the women get involved. They start beating up on Cena,
Yeah.
which I thought was an interesting element, right? So they come in and get involved with John, and then all of a sudden, the John's laying on the ropes here, springs up, Dom. He
Yep.
comes in, hits him with the 619, the frog splash, and the ref refuses to count. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't. And I also love, Wade Barrett, I think does such a great job on commentary. Michael Cole, of course, is wonderful, but Wade Barrett, just trashing the ref for being so unprofessional just adds so much to it, man. It's so good. Um, him getting in Dom's face and, what happened to your shoulder and just the whole, I mean,
Yeah.
this is what pro wrestling is all about. It's so good. And it was
Well,
just
that's
done
the
so
sports
well.
entertainment side. That's the sports entertainment side, right? Of the pro
Sorry, I
wrestling.
said pro wrestling. You knew what
Yeah.
I meant. Yeah, the
Yeah.
sports entertainment side. Um, that's what makes that part just so great, man. Because it's the kind of thing that, like you were saying earlier, it's hard to suspend belief when they're doing the theatrics of an entrance. Meanwhile, their partner's getting beat up in the ring. This is the kind of stuff that you can suspend yourself for a second. And yeah, okay. I mean, I've never seen it before, but I can
Right.
see where a ref would make that call in the moment.
Yeah, and then so the ref gets mad, doesn't count, and then throws Raquel
And
and gosh,
Roxanne.
why am I can't Roxanne? I can't remember Roxanne's name for whatever reason. Throws them out, tells them to go to the back, and so
Yeah.
we continue on the match, and then Cena's looking for a shoulder tackle. Dom drops, he hits the referee, knocks him out of the ring, and here comes the Judgment Day. Now, I think they missed an opportunity here. This is where I thought Rey Mysterio would show up to help John Cena and take
Right.
out the Judgment Day. But he didn't. They let the Judgment Day come down and beat up on Cena.
Yeah. I don't love that only because this just happened. And these guys, Sheamus and Rey Mysterio came out on the, was it Raw? Um, it doesn't make sense. If they're going to come out on Raw, why wouldn't you come out on the PLE? I, I do have a problem with that. Not only is it a miss, but I do think that's just a continuity issue. There should have been a reason why they didn't come out. But I know ultimately it was because they wanted Cena to be able to have the high spot of, getting the AA with both of them on his shoulders at the same time. I get that. I just think there was that. I agree with you. Definitely a miss there. Not done best, but like I said, I know they wanted Cena to have his spot there.
So the refs knocked out. Cena gets rid of the Judgment Day, and then Liv Morgan's music hits. And then here she comes. Like, she has Dom's mask on the side of her jeans, but we're not
Yeah.
sure. Is she gonna be mad at Dom? Is she gonna help Dom? We're not sure. They do leave that little bit of intrigue, which was good.
Hmm.
And she hits the ring, and then she looks at him and looks at Dom, and then John Cena's making this face. Look, you're in trouble, Dom. Right?
Yeah.
It's classic John Cena faces. And then she slaps Dom, allegedly. I guess she misses mostly the
Right.
slap, and we find out why
Yeah.
later because she goes to slap Dom. He hits the ground, and then she jumps on John Cena, straddles him, and
Hmm.
smiling and hugging him, and then gives the John Cena heel face
Yeah.
over his shoulder,
Yeah.
and then kicks him in the lower region.
Yeah, I love her face right there. I watched it multiple times, and she sold that so well. She got her eyes big, and she's got such a great look. I said earlier, Rhea's my favorite female going right now. Liv's definitely number two. I love everything that Liv Morgan does. Um, Little bit of the crazy psycho kind of, which I guess says all kinds of things about me, but it's a great character. It's a great
Have you talked to
spot.
Kyle about this? I don't know if
No, 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 no.
she's gonna be
Yeah,
wondering what is it about her, right?
yeah. But yeah, no, it's great setup. I love the callback. And as soon as she gets down from them, they don't let it fester too long. She goes straight for the kick as soon as she gets off of them.
Yeah, she kicks him in the lower regions, and then in the John Wiener, as Dom would say on the post game,
Yeah.
and so obviously Dom gets the pin. She goes and gets the ref, and it's the 1, 2, 3, and Dom is now again the Intercontinental Champion. And this is how it's supposed to be done. I thought this match was done beautifully. Not the wrestling part. It's okay. It was good. It was good. But the storyline and the interruptions and how they were handled, I thought was really good.
Hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it progresses everything exactly the way it needs to be. Cena's got one left, so it's a nice little bow there. Um, to me, putting I say putting Dom over, but looking up at the lights in a match with Dom
Hmm.
to drop the title back to him. Now you get the Dom and Liv stuff that you get to go off with. Who's the next Intercontinental challenger? It's a lot there. So yeah, man, I mean, I think it was done very, very well. Progresses everything, like you said. Maybe the wrestling just, it is what it is with the Cena that's been what almost 30 years in the WWE, a crazy run. So
Yeah,
everything I
but
would
not
want from.
bad. Not bad
Oh
here.
no, yeah, not bad, not bad. But I don't think anyone's going to accuse this of a 5-star classic.
No, no, no,
But it
no.
accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Push forward Dom in a good way. Put nice little um, close on the short-lived Cena title run, and now we get to go into the last time is now tournament and just focus all of our attention on who's what that last match is going to be like in December.
And maybe just the interactions with Dom and Cena, seeing Dom hold his own against one of the greatest of all time is huge for Dom. And I
Hmm.
think that I think later on there will be some appreciation there. And I wanted Rey Mysterio to come out because I think it's gonna be some more Rey and Dom stuff, here in the future. And I don't know how much more Rey can compete, right? He's getting old. And so I would love to have seen him interjected into that story and maybe start some more of that feud. um, but who it was what it was, and I thought it was probably the spot and the match of the night from a overall standpoint, not in the ring stuff, but overall standpoint.
No, I
So
agree.
now, what they did to Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella, making them follow that, was really tough,
Yeah.
right? It's like, okay, here comes the women's championship match, and Nikki Bella just turned heel, and as we
Hmm.
thought, she changed her gear, right?
Yep.
She changed her look slightly, a little bit more heelish. But man, coming out, you know, Nikki, the crowd did not really respond. There wasn't really, I guess they weren't sure whether they should cheer or really boo or what to
Yeah.
do because she's a legend, right?
Hmm.
But Stephanie Vaquer's entrance, man, she looked awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Vaquer is I understand why they put the title on her because man, that she has got a rocket ship strapped to her back right now, and she is doing. What say whatever you want about Uso's title run, Jey Uso's title run, and kind of what happened with that. But I think more than anything, it didn't seem like one, the crowd was responding to him, but then two, it didn't seem like he was elevating in the moment. She has just really taken it and elevated herself. And is really, really playing off the crowd really well. And this is someone that very clearly, when you hear her speak, English is not her first language. Normally, that's a huge issue potentially, especially for a champion. That has seemed to almost endear her to the crowd in a lot of ways. She didn't speak here, but just in jazz, as I've watched her and as she's come up, but I couldn't agree with you more, man. This entrance was great. She looks the part. I don't know what kind of makeup she has, man, but it doesn't not a single little piece of it out of place by the time that match is over. Has everything you want. And by the way, a phenomenal wrestler. Does a really, really great job in the ring.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting much from this match. Just to be honest, because it's like, okay, this is kind of a short thrown together feud, and we'll see what happens after this. Is Nikki Bella now done with Stephanie Vaquer, and that what happens next? But I wasn't expecting a lot, but they kind of surprised me with
Yep.
this match. Not that the audience was dead. I don't know what the issue was with the audience, but it definitely was dead. And maybe it was there's only 4 matches. When are we going to go get some food? And maybe it could have been something like that.
Yep.
Maybe they just weren't really sold that Nikki Bella is somebody we should hate yet. But I thought the ladies did a wonderful job in this match, and it's Nikki being gone for so long, she held her own pretty well.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think you're exactly right about the crowd. Probably the pseudo intermission. The men's match is next, and it's kind of the low spot on the card. But really, really good wrestling. Love the spot on the outside. I'm sure she's done it before, but I haven't seen Devil's Kiss done on the announcers table. That was just different,
I haven't
right?
seen
You
that
could put
either.
some
Yeah.
yeah, puts them close to the audience. The audience reaction, at least right there, that it was loud. It definitely got the reaction they wanted. Um, you know, I love the cares off the top stuff just in general, but the finisher is phenomenal. So I agree with you completely. This was actually my second favorite match on the like just in the ring. I like Dom Cena one, and then I actually like this one too. But I'm also, I'm a sucker for the women and the evolution of the women's wrestling thing, just because I feel like they do so much. It's so authentic. It comes off so real.
Yeah.
Um, and so I really, really enjoyed this actually.
So obviously, Vaquera goes over. She gets the win over Nikki, clean, obviously, and
Yep.
she as being the face. But that sets us up for the men's war game match. Now, again, we talked earlier about okay, who are we supposed to care about? We got Cody and Drew and a little bit of a feud here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the dissension on Team Reigns with Punk and Cody and Reigns, and then the
Uh-huh.
Usos, right? Um, and so there's more friction on that team than maybe against the other team. And I know they were trying to sell us on Roman hates Paul and Vision more than he hates Cody and Punk.
Right.
But to me, it just wasn't really enough to drive us, in this match. And again, to me, War Games, you're thinking, back in the old days, cage matches were reserved for really big deals, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
we got to settle this score. You've had too much help, too many run-ins. You've been running away from me. I think back to Ric Flair and Kerry Von Erich in the cage match that started the Freebird feud when we had special guest referees and the cage door slammed on Kerry's head by Terry Gordy. Those kinds of things. It was either the launch of something great or the conclusion of something great, right?
Right.
and sometimes both. And so now when we got cage matches, there's violence. It's blood. It's that kind of thing, right? Not AEW blood, but not AEW or ECW violence. But
Right.
that was the time where you thought this is going to get ugly real quick. And to me, the match started off fine. There are a couple things that worried me in this match when Jey Uso hit his head on a table off of I think was it a Lesnar suplex. I'm not sure
Uh,
who suplexed him into
yeah.
the table, but hit the bottom of the table. And then
Right.
Braun Breaker, we thought may have broke his neck on on a move. So it was a little bit rough in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me your overall thoughts on the men's war game match.
Yeah, overall, I think you've got a lot of really good professional wrestlers in this match. So, although again, hodgepodge of storylines that I'm being told I'm supposed to care about as a collective. So, I guess I'm doing my most to try and care. But I think, you know, my issue with any of these things, especially on the main event level, is it. One of the things that Triple H got a lot of credit for early on was it seemed like he was thinking 5 and 6 and 7 steps ahead. And the anti Vince thing was, well, let's just go change it right now. And we're not going to worry
Yeah.
about we'll worry about next week. Kind of the old WCW Eric Bischoff thing. Well, now it kind of feels like we've taken a step back in that way. So as much as I enjoyed the match, really nothing to dislike about the match. I'm sure we'll get into the mystery guy in a second here, but
Yeah.
that felt a little unnecessary in that moment. Um, but
Yeah.
honestly, no problem with the match. The in ring stuff was fine. Nothing really terrible about it. Nothing. Oh my god, that's something I'll never forget about it. But the storyline is the thing that it's hard for me to distance myself from and feel like, oh, I know exactly where we're going, and this makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, a couple of things I want to point out, right? So the Paul Heyman only came out with Brock Lesnar.
Right.
And Brock Lesnar they held till the end, and they should have because
Uh huh.
he's not good in these kinds of matches. Whether it's Royal Rumble or War Games matches, it's like what is he supposed to do? He's going to go in and beat everybody up. He
Yeah.
can't lay down and be recovering for 10 minutes. That makes him look weak, and he
Right.
can't dominate everybody either. So I understand that. But to me, what's the signal with Lesnar coming out with Heyman? Heyman only being there with Les because he was the last one, and then he could come down to the ringside. Seems like he would already been out there. If Vision is his new thing, and Vision
Uh
is
huh.
the future, he seems like he should have been out there. Um, that's one thing I had an issue with. And then I said earlier that they did the same thing that the women did. So you have Drew McIntyre not letting Cody
Mm. Yeah.
in the ring, trying to hold the door. And it's a very similar situation. I think that it's not a bad spot if you do it once, but maybe they didn't know each other were going to do it. I don't know. But I think Drew, I don't think they know what to do with Drew McIntyre right now. And I think that he's underrated, and I really like Drew a lot. And so I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
concerned about that. Then you had this
Yeah.
odd moment where Jey Uso decides to yeet in the middle of the match, and he's like up on top of the cage like yeeting and humping wires, and I don't know what was going on up there, but it's in the middle of the match.
Right.
So with the couple of spots where you're like concerned about people's health, then you got some of these shenanigans going on. You didn't get a lot of interaction between Reigns and Rhodes and Punk. You had Rhodes give Punk an elbow because he didn't know who was coming up from behind him, which that was all in good. But what do you think about these shenanigans? The Paul Heyman thing, the Jey Uso thing. What do you make of all that?
Yeah, again, just kind of feels like don't know what else we're doing, so let's just do something. The yeeting, it's so funny they say that because as it was happening, I was watching it with Kyle, my wife, and I said, what are we doing? Like, what? Why? This feels so out of place. I don't understand what's happening right now. Um, so yeah, it feels like again, do we just not have a better idea? I'm sure it will be sold, if at all, that Heyman came out exactly what you said. Heyman came out Brock because he came out last, and now that's the time to go be ringside. Um, because if obviously Lesnar's a special attraction, he's not going to be there often. But it's almost like when Brock is here, Heyman's going to go with him. Everyone else gets a back seat, but then the
Yeah.
rest of the time, he's Vision's his thing, like you said. So I, I'm all good with shenanigans. I have no problem with wrestling shenanigans. Just make it make sense and don't have me scratching my head 3 different times in a match. And just real quick on the Cody Rhodes spot, even if they didn't know they were going to do, pivot, call an audible. Hey, let's not
Yeah.
do it after all because it just happened. Like it
Oh, you're
is
talking about the whole Drew McIntyre holding the door.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I saw it, the first thing I thought in my head was, didn't AJ just do this? Like what are we?
No,
It's
Becky.
hard not
Becky.
to think about
Yeah.
it. Or Becky, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. Well, AJ trying to get in. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it just good with wrestling shenanigans. These kind of made no sense.
Yeah. And again, so we're there's some pretty good spots in this match. Again, we got superstars in this match. You got
Mm-hmm.
Reigns, Rhodes, you got Lesnar, you got Logan Paul, you got Bronson Reed, you got Braun Breaker, you got CM Punk, you got all these guys, and we have to have a mystery man come in who's all in all black. He
Right.
scaled that cage, man, quicker than anything, man. It was like
Yeah.
so that when we're thinking about who this could be, that eliminates all the older guys because there's no way they could
100%.
scale the cage like that. So he
Yeah.
scales the cage, comes
Yeah.
in, gives him a stomp, a super kick, and a stomp, and then gets out of there. And everyone's just kind of looking at him, right? And then Punk, of course, Punk is stopped, and they pin Punk, and the Vision's team wins. Lesnar, Vision, they win, right? So it's who is that masked man, right? Here we go, an old school, old wrestling trick. You run somebody in, covered up. You can't tell who they are. Now, back in the day, they didn't cover all their body, but
Right.
but now it's kind of obvious who's who. So they covered up everything, and he got out of there. So what'd you think of this masked man first before we talk about who it might be?
Yeah, I agree with the point you made about him getting up that cage, man. He was up and over in no time flat. Immediately there Randy Orton's out, Edge is out. There's so many guys that any names that you wanted to bring up that are older, 100% out because they're so athletic. Now that's not to say that whoever they ultimately reveal to be the person doesn't necessarily have to be the guy that scaled the ring. That could have been
That's true.
anybody. Um, it will be a lot harder to believe if it's,
Yeah.
the honky tonk man or something. I don't think we're gonna buy certain guys. But I will say in a match that is essentially as close to an all-star game match that you will have in terms of the main event picture. I mean, who's really missing? To have somebody that can't possibly live up to the hype decide the match is kind of insane to me. You've set this person up to me for failure from my
You're talking
perspective.
about the masked man? You're setting them
Right.
up for failure?
You've
Okay.
yeah, because again, you have a who's who of the WWE right now. Like name a other than maybe Gunther, like there's not another top star in the main event picture right now, not in that match, and yet some person is going to decide the outcome of it.
Yeah.
It better be a really, really big name, someone really important to the industry. And how can it be? There's nobody left.
Well,
So,
they obviously want us to think it's Seth Rollins, but if you
right,
just had shoulder surgery, you're not scaling a cage like that, and I don't think he could do that fast anyway. Maybe he could,
right,
but not just coming off shoulder surgery. So there's no
right,
way it could be Seth Rollins. So before we get into who was the Masked Man, I wanna ask you, what were your thoughts overall? Because at the end of this, okay, Masked Man leaves, Punk gets pinned. You know, Lesnar, CM Punk, Braun, um, Bronson Reed, and who am I forgetting? Who's the
Logan Paul.
fifth guy? Logan Paul. They get the win.
Right,
Um, and afterwards, no, before we go to afterwards, what you said earlier is true. Why is Logan Paul in this group?
right.
Why? I know he's a young talent and he is the future of the business,
Yeah,
but being a Maverick, why would he? I still don't understand why he's in this group right now,
yeah,
and why Lesnar is so chummy with these guys.
yeah,
Because those two, Logan Paul and Lesnar, are Mavericks. They don't do anything with tag teams. As a matter of fact, this was Lesnar's first War Games match, I think.
hmm,
And I don't remember, and I'm sure he has been, but I don't remember Lesnar being in very many tag team matches, coming up. Uh,
right.
and and so I don't. It's just awkward, right? So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen there, what's going to transpire. So, but they get the win. And then we have the little confrontation with Reigns, Punk, and Cody Rhodes. Now, I didn't
Right.
really understand this. Now, maybe I missed something in the match. Now, why would Roman Reigns be good with CM Punk, but not good with Cody Rhodes? Just based on what happened in that match. Now, going into that, I know there's more history with Rhodes and Reigns, and they don't
Hmm.
really like each other, and I know all of that. But specifically, what would possess him to dap up CM Punk and help him up, and then tell Cody, we're never teaming again, you know, and to make it think he still has a major problem with Cody.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna play on the fact that Cody's the one that dethroned Reigns and ended the streak and ended, the long title reign, if you're gonna play that up to that degree, these guys have no business teaming together then. Like if that's what you're gonna rely on, which is it's the best guess that I have, is we're just gonna call back to the fact that Rhodes is the one that, the whole reigns without a empire comment that he made, and then it all comes to fruition, the bloodline, everything. Basically, Rhodes took everything from Roman. Or yeah,
I get
Cody
that.
took everything. But again, that's fine. But then they have no business teaming to begin. Like
Well, this
they
isn't the
don't,
first time they've teamed together.
and that's what I'm saying, right? So
So
like,
so it's like, okay, so you got over it for a little while, but now it
right.
really is in your crawl again.
And for what? Like you said, what in this match made it? Oh yeah, I remember. You're the guy that took everything from me. Like it just came out of nowhere. So I don't
Well,
disagree. Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I don't disagree with that. What I was going to say was just on the the end of the match in terms of Bronson being the one to pin CM. We were talking earlier about like who leaves these matches better off. Typically, AJ going over on Becky, that seems odd. Bronson going over, I'm sorry, not Bronson, Braun Breaker going over on CM Punk,
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense to me. Now you just had
you made it
the
clear
air
who's next, right?
exactly the heir apparent just pinned the champ 1, 2, 3 in the center. That makes sense. Now I know where we're going from here, and I love it. I love everything about that. So I don't get the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns side from the storytelling standpoint, and having Braun get the pin on CM. That makes a ton of sense to me.
Well, business is better when Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns hate each other. That's
Sure.
true. And the problem is one of them have to be a heel.
Yeah.
It's not going to work if the audience likes both of them.
Hmm.
And obviously Roman Reigns is apparently going to be more heelish. But then what does that mean? Because now you have Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, you've got Braun, you got Bronson, you got Logan Paul. Like if Roman is going to go after Cody's title, which that's what they're inferring here at the end, right? When earlier on, I think it was SmackDown or Raw, I can't remember which one now because they've kind of merged together in my head. Well, Roman said, "Hell, that title would look good on my shoulders." And he's like, CM Punk's like, he's talking to you, and Cody's like, yeah, whatever. And the point is, they're trying to make you think that Roman's going to go after Cody's title, right? Okay, great. So everybody that's a heel on SmackDown, just get in the back of the line, right? I get that.
Yeah.
But do you think that Reigns Rhodes 3, and this was a title I had, let's save that for later because I want to get into the Masked Man before we get on to Reigns and Rhodes.
Yeah.
But the Masked Man, obviously, they want us to think it's Seth Rollins, and maybe it eventually will be because sort of with El Grande Americana that we know who that was, but since he got injured, they've changed up who's in that mask.
Right.
So they could do the same thing with this Masked Man, like you said. But who do you think is actually going to be the Mystery Man?
I think it's going to be Austin Theory. Now I've subsequently read a lot of people have this same thought, so I was a little
Yeah,
disappointed because when it happened, I immediately went to Austin Theory, um, and I thought I would be in the minority. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought there wouldn't be a lot of people thinking that. But apparently, everybody thinks that, so I'm not special. Everyone everyone thinks it's Austin Theory. Um, but like I said earlier, I think just like before, when Vince tried to give Theory that huge push and he set him up for failure, I feel like history is repeating itself here because if you reveal him immediately, if you only wait a week or two and reveal him, then why even come out
in a
mysterious
mask.
to begin
Yeah,
with? Yeah. And then if you're going to draw it out to the Rumble or something significant in time, and then it's Austin Theory. Like poor Austin Theory, no one's gonna they're gonna crap all over him. So just
yeah,
feel like you set it up to fail. I think it's gonna be Theory. I would love for it to be a Forbidden Door type guy, maybe a John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, maybe
yeah.
MJF, like something like that, something that's just totally wow. Contracts would dictate that that's not possible.
Right.
So that's why I say forbidden door type thing, where maybe a guy's contract is going to come up. He gives them advance notice. Hey, I'm not resigning. WWE pays. This has happened a few times in history where they'll pay out and just say, hey, let us use them until the time comes. That I think is the only way that this goes off well, is if it's one of like a 2 or 3 guys from either New Japan or AEW.
Yeah. So my initial thoughts were, man, that guy was quick, and look at those broad shoulders. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you think could be Randy Orton, right? Because he is not. I don't know if he could scale that cage that fast, but those shoulders could be
Yeah.
Randy Orton. I would love it to be Dean Ambrose, but like you said, I don't think that's possible with the contract, and no way Moxley or Ambrose is getting up that cage that quick.
Right.
Then I started thinking about well, who else could it be? I know it's not Jericho. There's no way. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Edge, like you said. There's just no way. I mean, and if we're thinking about the storyline, who hates CM Punk, or why would they? Who's a Paul Heyman guy that would work? It's just
Right.
you're trying to make sense of it. But just looking at the body type, the only other person I thought that could be just a long shot, maybe Montez Ford, somebody like that who has that build and is that quick, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of that makes sense, but it probably will be Austin Theory, and they're gonna have to really make that make sense unless they drag this out until Seth Rollins is healthy and try to make us believe it was Seth Rollins the whole time.
Yeah, maybe that. Just as you were talking, just in that criteria, like who has a score to settle with CM, who maybe can align himself with Paul Heyman. And I don't think the stature matches up here just because he's kind of a shorter guy. But what about Ricky Saints?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But
Just the stuff with them too in AEW, that friction and you know, it's a little bit there's
I don't
some
know,
maybe
man.
something there.
He's way too skinny. That guy was
Yeah,
way. I don't know how tall Ricky Saints is, but that guy
he's
was.
not tall.
That's why I thought it could be Orton.
Yeah,
I would love it, but then why wouldn't Cody have taken the pin if it was Orton,
right,
right? Because
right.
that feud would be something people want to see is Cody versus
100%.
Orton.
Yeah.
And so if CM Punk again, if Braun Breaker's next for CM Punk, then why would they have the Mystery Man come in and take out Punk, unless it's just going to be another Vision member who we're not ready to reveal yet, which
Yeah.
it kind of loses its luster a little bit.
100%. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think, like I said, there's only a few guys that can be the reveal and it actually matter. And unfortunately, I highly doubt we're getting any of those. Um, I like Austin Theory, so I wish they would do something and actually give him a real push where he had the chance to be successful in a role. If it is Theory, I just feel like it's gonna crash and burn again.
Well, I hope not, because I actually like Austin Theory as well. I think the whole Vince connection is just unfortunate for him,
Mhm.
and then getting paired with Grayson Waller. But yeah. So who was that masked man? I guess we'll find out. I don't know how soon we'll find out, but I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
be talked about tomorrow night on Raw.
Yep.
Okay, so with the fallout here, we started talking about Cody versus Reigns 3. What's your take on this? Are you in for the trilogy? Are you in for a third match with Cody and Reigns?
I am under one condition, and
Okay.
the condition is this, and there's no shot it happens. I think virtually no shot it happens. The idea of a Cody heel turn
Mm.
makes a lot of sense to me. Um, and more than that, a Cody heel turn where he somehow gets Heyman on his side, and it's just Cody
Another
and
Heyman
Heyman.
swerve? Mm.
Another, yeah. Um, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's possible because they've done it so much now. Um, this will be what the fourth. That would be the fifth Heyman swerve in the last 2 years. Because it was Reigns or it was Lesnar, Reigns, Punk, Reigns, Rollins, Vision. I mean, six really. Vision, not Raw. I mean, so that's so much. But
It's
even
like
without that,
making us dizzy how many times Heyman
yeah,
is swerved.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then take Heyman away from it, and then I'm back to the original, which is Cody versus Roman 3. This is Rock Austin. This is Reigns Lesnar. Cody Reigns is something you can definitely build Mania around, but give it to me with Cody as the heel and Reigns
Mm.
as the face.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that want Cody to turn heel if that's going to be the case. And you've seen some of the Tremors. I think he had one of his best promos ever on SmackDown where he
Mm-hmm.
talked about, hey, Heyman, you build him and I'll beat him.
Yeah.
And he just went in on all those guys. And I thought it was one of his best promos. I
Yep.
think Cody is, as the white meat baby face, is getting a little stale for
Yep.
people. This could be the time, if you're going to turn him, though, that you could bring Ricky Saints up to team with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could have him build a little stable. Um, but wouldn't you want Orton with him if he was going to be heel? I don't know. I would love to see that. Like, and now the roles are reversed,
Yeah.
and Orton is now kind of the guy who is the
The muscle.
enforcer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool. Or or they have they like you said, they're building this stable. But I don't know if you'll bring Heyman. Who could be a Heyman alternate? Alternative to Heyman, maybe somebody like that. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I do agree that the best way to do it would be have Cody turn heel. If you're going to do it just straight up, and there's nothing saying this is happening this WrestleMania, it's just, hey, what's next for Reigns? Reigns has been very in and out this year, and it's
Yeah. Yeah.
not been great.
Yep.
The MFTs are now forming and having this rivalry with the Wyatt Six, so we're not sure if there's a bloodline storyline. What's next for Jey Uso? Well, it looks like he's going to go back to tagging.
Yep.
So maybe it's just a bloodline redone, which I hope
Yep.
not. But I think that you're right. I think I would want to see this turn out to be a Cody heel if we're going to get Reigns versus Cody. The thing is that they haven't, with John Cena's farewell tour this year. It's been weird. The whole heel turn that was botched, the
Mm-hmm.
whole Cody and Cena thing, um, was good, but it was like after that, there's what do we do with Cody, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
who does he? And I actually like Drew McIntyre and Cody having a feud. I just don't know if they know what to do with it, right? But
Right.
as it pertains to Reigns, Cody 3, obviously it's big business, right? It's done before, but there has to be a different element to it. I think this time, and maybe not. Maybe people will just love it, but I think for me, I would want to see something different than we've seen already. We've seen Cody do the chase and not get
Yep.
there. We've seen Cody finish the story. So part three would be what this that Reigns takes it all away from him, I guess, and then maybe Reigns goes real heelish. But
No, what could be honestly a part 3, and again, without getting too much into it, I'm just quickly kind of running through what could you set up here? You could go with the outlaw AEW kind of faction against the Bloodline faction, but like a true Bloodline faction where you get
mm,
Reigns, Jimmy, Jay, and then you get Cody, Ricky Saints, and I'm sure there's a third somewhere in there. Maybe
well, CM
near
Punk, CM Punk was
CM
AEW.
Punk. You could go CM Punk, yeah, or even Rusev.
Jade
Rusev had,
Cardinal.
and so that's what I was gonna say. So you start with these 3v3, then you add Jade, then you get the returning Naomi to come back, and I don't know timeline how that matches up. But there's so I think that's maybe a way you could do it. Would be like a outlaw, call it outlaw promotion, outlaw something, whatever there is there. But I think there's
Mm.
something there potentially.
Yeah, I think that I don't know that they'd ever allow that because they would be too many references to the other promotion.
Right.
But I think it could be something very great and very creative. I want to see a different take on
Yeah.
Reigns and Cody. I don't want it to be for the title. It's for the title. It's for respect or whatever it is. Um, but if it has to be for the title, great. But Cody's definitely better as a babyface on the chase.
Hmm.
So let's either see him chasing or let's see him turn heel, right? And if they turn him heel though, who's going to step up as the number one babyface? Is it Reigns?
Yeah.
Will Reign
But
will Reign will
Will,
people can he do that again, you think?
or will he be around enough, right? I think that would be
Yeah.
the bigger problem. Is he just going to spend time? I would say if the only other way that I see a Cody heel turn going is kind of like what you said. He loses everything, and then we get a heel hard times Cody,
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
that to me is really really it just popped in my head. But that's really interesting. Like
Yeah,
that, I would
playing
love
by
to
the
see.
rules lost me everything.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna yeah, maybe Cody falls on hard times. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe. And who knows, maybe Dustin
right,
maybe eventually will be involved in one of these stories, but
yeah,
because AEW is definitely not using him much. So
no,
Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 3 looks like it's on the horizon. We'll
yeah.
see. So what about CM Punk? Do you think the Braun Breaker CM Punk, is Punk now in this phase where he's going to be giving these new guys the rub, and is he going to drop the championship to one of these Vision guys? What do you think is next for CM Punk?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think he'll drop it to. I think Braun makes the most sense. And then I would love to see a Braun, and this is me pipe dreaming so hard, but I would love to see a Braun Dominic Mysterio program for the title. Like,
Mm,
give it to us 3 years early. I think everyone knows those two guys have a big part to play in the future.
yeah.
But let's have CM drop the title to Braun at maybe Rumble, have Dom win at the Rumble, and then let's get Braun and Dom at WrestleMania. But yeah, in the immediate, I think CM drops it to probably Braun Breaker. I think makes the most sense. You can make an argument for Logan Paul. I don't
Yeah, I
think
was
we're
going to because I think how did these guys just jump Logan Paul? Now that Logan Paul
right.
wants to be a full-time guy, it's like, okay, we're letting these other guys jump ahead of you, Logan. And Logan's talented.
Yeah.
Logan is good on the mic. He's good in the ring.
Yep.
It's yet to be seen from Braun how good he is on the mic. His Steiner math, we know that. I wish they would just stop calling him Braun Breaker and
Yeah.
call him Braun Steiner or whatever. So
Right.
give him the Steiner name. I
Yeah.
really wish they would do that. But so now they've jumped Logan Paul. So what's Logan Paul going to do? He looks sort of out of place in this group.
Yeah.
Lesnar's not a full time member. So I'm curious for CM Punk what that means because he can't keep beating these young guys, or you know he's going to have to drop it soon, and then chase again.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what you do have in a setup potentially is, and I would love to see this, is a Brock Logan WrestleMania match. That to me would be phenomenal.
Brock
Um,
Lesnar and Logan Paul.
yeah. And I think
Wow.
I'm just because Logan kind of was front of the line, like, hey, let's go get him, and then Brock very clearly is like, hey, okay, everybody stay back,
Hmm.
and Brock kind of let Logan get a little what for on Raw on the Go
Yeah.
Home Raw show. Um, and so I can see Logan thinking that Heyman's got his best interest at heart, and then meanwhile, of course, he's always going to be the advocate. And so I think there's something there. And then CM Punk, I think he's just got so much star power that and based on everything he's said and we've seen since he's been back, he really seems to want to help. So I don't, put him in a program with just about anybody and you're going to elevate that somebody.
Yeah.
So maybe it is the Austin Theory CM Punk thing, and maybe that's what Theory needs. Maybe Theory needs CM Punk to elevate him into that, you know, upper tier card.
Well, and I feel we got robbed a little bit of Rollins and Punk. Maybe we can,
Yeah.
when Rollins comes back, we can get some more of that. I love the Drew and CM Punk storyline,
Yep.
but that's also gone away. So yeah, it's going to be interesting what they do with Punk and how long they have him keep the title and who they build up for him next. So I guess I'm a little concerned where we were, and I've said this before in 40 and 41 WrestleMania heading into that. We had some really big storylines that were already had taken shape at this point. And
Uh-huh.
right now it looks like we're just kind of on the cusp of settling. Okay, what are we going to do? Which way are we going to go? And maybe they know, and maybe they had it all figured out. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems a little scattered.
Yeah, for sure. I think at this time in 40 and 41, certainly going into 41, but even 40, you had a pretty good idea of where it was going to go. You knew what we were going to get. Not in terms of the results, but just where,
Yeah.
the main event kind of picture. Um, and then I was so upset that, and off topic, but I was so upset that Cody didn't get it at 40. Um, but it made all the sense in the world. It's a long-term storytelling was phenomenal.
Yeah. And The
This
Rock almost messed up 41.
right.
And he
So
messed
yeah,
up the John Cena and messed
and
up
he
the
messed
John
up
Cena heel
Cena.
turn. So, I
Yeah.
mean, is The Rock not got he's not got the love anymore in the WWE, it seems like.
Well, he's the Mike Jordan. He's the MJ of the WWE, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal performer. Then he gets in the front office, and
Oh, so we got Wizards Mike and
we
Charlotte
got
Mike.
Wizards Mike. Yeah, we don't know if I don't know if Rock is an asset anymore.
Wizards Mike
Um,
wasn't that bad if you look at it, but Charlotte Hornets Jordan is been really bad as far as an owner and an
uh,
office guy. But anyway,
yeah.
storylines,
So
WrestleMania, head into WrestleMania. You feel good about it? You worried? You
nah.
concerned?
Yeah, I'm worried. I think Rumble was a great chance to reset, but like you said, even it would be nice if now we already were really gearing up hard for it, and save for a couple of matches that I think are probably locks, and more so on the women's side. It feels like we're not really kicking into full gear yet by any stretch.
Well, we'll see who wins Rumble, right? And I think that that will give us a more clear picture. But with WrestleMania being in April now, maybe they feel like they've got more time to tell the
Yep.
stories. But
Hmm.
again, it's not going to be if it's a 3 month story. That's not really long term storytelling, and maybe they
No.
can weave this together to where it comes back, dramatically. But I am concerned. This year's been a little topsy turvy with the storylines, and I guess we'll just have to see where they take us on this journey, because I think Triple H has lost a little steam.
Hmm.
Um, I think being a corporate giant now, WWE owned by TKO and all that has kind of messed with the rhythms.
Yep.
Switching PLE providers and all that stuff, getting on ESPN. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe ESPN's really happy with the WWE's performance, but to me, this WWE Survivor Series War Games was just kind of a solid B. Not a B
Hmm.
plus and not a C plus, but kind of a solid B.
Yep.
Um, that's how I would rate it if we were rating it. But to me, I'm just concerned coming out of this. Where are they going? And I have my favorites. I love Randy Orton. I love Drew McIntyre. I don't know what they're going to do with those guys, but having Orton and Cody in a program seems to me better than Reigns Cody 3.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen with Vision. Not a fan of the MFTs, just to be honest with you. And I don't know if getting the bloodline band back together is a solution either. We don't want to overdo it like NWO was done back in
Yeah.
WCW. So anyway, what grade do you give it as we close this Survivor Series War Games recap?
Yeah, it's hard for me to do anything above a C. I think there were some moments here, but ultimately, the questions that I'm left asking are not good questions. It's not, it's almost like
Well, C is
we.
almost failing, bro. You sure?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm
The
sure. I'm
Cena
sure.
Dom match, the swerve with Liv Morgan, the swerve with the Masked Man, that didn't redeem it for you.
No, it really didn't, because I think ultimately the main events have to be the most important thing.
Okay.
Now, obviously, Cena, I think that counts for a lot. And honestly, if not for the Cena thing, I might even be at a D here.
Oof.
I think Cena Dom really helped the show a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the C. Didn't love it. Thought it's honestly, if Raw and SmackDown had been weak, the PLE seemed to save a lot of what had been done on the weekly shows.
Hmm.
This seemed to be the opposite.
Okay.
The weekly shows had been okay. There'd
Yeah.
been some stuff in there, and the PLE really just kind of was a letdown for me. What say you?
Well, like I said, I'm about a B, because I think there were some redeeming qualities here. Only having 4 matches, I think, was a mistake. Not having a true Survivor Series match, I think, was a mistake. Having 2 War Games matches might have been a mistake. I probably would have done just the men's War Game,
Mm-hmm.
and the women could have done a regular Survivor Series match,
Yep.
like they did on SmackDown the night before. I
Mm-hmm.
think the Cena and Dom thing was great. I think Stephanie Vaquera looked like a star. I think Liv Morgan coming back was huge, but I'll give it a solid B, because it didn't suck and it wasn't great. So, and it was just to me slightly above average. And
Yeah.
I think being Cena's last PLE, that hasn't set in yet. Only one more thing from Cena, and I don't know if I'm ready for that because it's like a end of an era.
Yep.
And as much as heat as he's gotten and as lightning rod as he's been, I think this place will miss him.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it. He's not coming back. He's never
He
going to be
won't.
in ring again. And I
He
think
won't.
he will stay true to that. Although he also said he would never be part time before. So remember he was dissing The Rock about being part
Right.
time, and then he
Right.
went part time. But so that has me a little bit in my feelings. Going, there's only one more appearance from John Cena, and then he's never going to wrestle again. So that's Saturday night's main event coming up on December 13th. But overall, I'll give it a B. And listen, man, I like talking WWE. I don't know how regular this will be. Maybe it's a once a month thing. Maybe it becomes weekly. We'll see what the feedback is. But we appreciate you jumping on and listening with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and interact with us in the comment section. But listen, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And until next time, peace.